Dyer is reportedly relieved that his daughter Dani has split from her boyfriend Sammy Kimmence after he was found guilty of a £34,000 fraud earlier this week. The EastEnders actor, 43, and the rest of Dani's family have said they think it's for the best and have told her she will never be alone as a single mum, according to OK. The Love Island star, 26, shares her 7-month-old son Santiago with Sammy, 25, who was sentenced to 3 years in jail on Wednesday and lied to her about the severity of his crimes. A source told the publication, Dani and her whole family are relieved she's walked away. They think this is for the best. They've told her she'll never be alone as a single mum as they'll always help her to raise Santiago. The source added, Dani knew Sammy's crime was bad but everyone thinks she just buried her head in the sand about it and didn't face up to the enormity of his crimes until he was sentenced. Representatives for Dani have been contacted by Mail Online for a comment. It comes after Dani was pictured looking devastated as she returned Sammy's car to a dealership, just hours after their split was reported on Thursday. She was joined by her mum Joanne and Santiago as she dropped the car at the Chigwell showroom in the wake of the conman's incarceration. She was seen dropping off a new BMW X4 which markets for around £47,000, in the wake of his imprisonment for the crimes, which sources say Sammy underplayed to the reality star, who was toting a £1,230 Gucci changing bag on the outing. She has since broken up with Sammy after he lied to her about his crimes before being sentenced to 3 years in jail on Wednesday. Speaking exclusively to Mail Online, a source revealed that the heartbroken reality star is working on life as a single parent. They said, she is absolutely floored by what's happened with Sammy. She knows she has to make massive changes in her life and she's so distraught. All she knows is that her baby boy Santiago is the only thing that matters now and she is trying to work out how best to look after him as a single parent. Sammy duped Peter Martin, 91, and Peter Haynes, 81, by persuading the vulnerable pensioners to let him to invest their money for them and then splashed out on expensive restaurants, hotels and clothes. The source went on, she needs time to think it through. Sammy completely downplayed the court case every step of the way. It has been revealed that she was misled over the severity of the crimes which saw Sammy groom pensioners to fund his lavish lifestyle. The source said, he led her to believe he hadn't done anything too serious and that he would get a suspended sentence. Now she knows the full horror of the crime. She is broken. She feels desperately sorry for the 2 men he scammed and whose lives he ruined. Speaking about how she is feeling now, they said, she feels utterly stupid for ever believing him and she is totally overwhelmed. The little dream family she thought she had has been smashed apart and she is now trying to work out how best to pick up the pieces. His victims had been clients of Sammy when he worked as senior trader at Equine Global Sports Limited, a company which subsequently went into liquidation. The company received money from customers which it would use to place bets on horse races, on their behalf. After this company ceased trading, he contacted 2 of his elderly clients and pretended he would continue investing their money in the same way, but instead used it to fund his lifestyle, paying for restaurants and booking a hotel in Ibiza. He also spent their cash in nightclubs and on a personalized number plate for his Mercedes, leaving one victim living on the breadline. Mr. Martin, who lived in Havant, Hants, died in November last year aged 91 while Mr. Haynes suffers from Alzheimer's. On Wednesday, Sammy, of Rayleigh, Essex, who had denied all the charges before a last-minute change of plea, was sent to prison for 5 counts of fraud, totaling £33,919. Standing in the dock at Portsmouth Crown Court, Hants, Sammy, dressed in a black suit, spoke only to confirm his name before sobbing during the hearing as his dishonesty was outlined and he was jailed for 3.5 years. Prosecutors said Sammy groomed his elderly victims, likening his fraud to a fox getting a key to the chicken pen, and said Mr. Martin had considered him a friend right up until he died. Prosecutor Mike Mason said, "This was a very unpleasant fraud against 2 men who Mr. Kimmence deliberately targeted. He targeted them because they were old, they were vulnerable and somewhat isolated. This wasn't something he migrated into from a friendship. This was something he planned." The court heard Sammy traveled to visit Mr. Haynes and Mr. Martin at their homes several times as he groomed them. Documents sent to the victims by Sammy included fake company names and an entirely fabricated gambling commission number. These were riddled with errors, including miscalculated balances and a misspelling of Sammy's own name. Mr. Mason said these letters demonstrated some pre-thinking, as the letters set these men up to believe this was an established, credible business. Sammy convinced Mr. Martin to give him his internet banking password, credit card and bank card. Mr. Mason said, in other words, he ceded financial control to Mr. Kimmence. It is akin to the fox getting a key to the chicken pen. Mr. Martin considered him a friend right up until he died, which tells us a little about the energy he put into grooming these old men. Mr. Martin's money was used by Sammy on holiday in Ibiza, in an Essex nightclub, and to shop at Waitrose, as well as paying car payments for his flashy Mercedes A-Class with a personalized number plate. His statement was read out in court, which said, "I have been left at times very stressed over having now given £1,000,000 to Sammy, who I thought was investing it for me. This whole process with Sammy has affected my trust in people." Dani is the daughter of Dyer and shot to fame on Love Island in 2018. Before the show, she had been in a relationship with Sammy but struck up a relationship with Jack Fincham in the villa before going on to win the reality show. She rekindled her romance with Sammy shortly after, and there have been rumors that the pair may be getting married in the near future.